what we were trying to get across is that the new business model of the nuclear utilities like Exelon was to engage in what we call the nuclear hostage crisis. The first step of the crisis is to announce we're losing money and we're going to have to close our plants down if we don't get some sort of help, because we're not being appreciated for all of the wonderful environmental benefits we provide, such as low carbon production of electricity. Well, that's the first step. And when that happens, that of course gets all of the mayors of the local communities and all the workers from the plants and all the unions associated with those plants up in arms about, woe is us, we're going to lose our jobs, there goes the tax base. Oh, it's a crisis. The third part then is they take that beef to their state legislators and say, better bail out Exelon or all these jobs are going to go away. And then as we found in 2016, our then Governor Rauner, in cooperation with the now not quite indicted House Speaker Michael Madigan, who is under an FBI investigation, but not yet indicted, kind of caved, and they gave Exelon the $2.3 billion bailout. Well, fast forward to now, in Illinois, we have a bill called CEJA, C-E-J-A, Clean Energy Jobs Act. There is no direct bailout in there, but Exelon learned its lesson and they kind of modified the plan. They don't go after direct bailouts anymore. They look for so-called, well, we call them pseudo-market solutions, such as getting capacity market reform, which would still get them the income some of the income they would need to subsidize their reactors. And they've also made it in such a way where they team up with the renewables people, who would also be penalized and not get money if the capacity market is not fixed. So the industry will always try and find a way, as around many of the what seem to be successes or just market directions, that nuclear is over. And Exelon is doing that in the CEJA legislation as well. Now, this is not to wrap the people who are trying to get more renewable energy or energy efficiency on the boards. We really need to do that. And the CEJA legislation is very comprehensive and goes well beyond just cranking out electrons. It really integrates many of the aspects of energy production that are ignored traditionally in energy legislation, such as just transitions, such as community energy, distributed power, local ownership, and things like that. No other legislation does that. But Exelon managed to get a little poison pill in there that in order to get all of those things, you got to bail out the nukes through some mechanism. So this is how I wanted to bring the tie into Ohio. Our situation is different. Our speaker has not been arrested or indicted. That may happen yet. We'll never know. And also, the other people have not been arrested. But the thing that baffled us was in Illinois, the subsidiary of Exelon, Commonwealth Edison, was the company that really got hammered by the FBI. They were indicted, they pled guilty, and they had to pay a $200 million fine. Now that fine will be given back in 2 years if ComEd exhibits good behavior and cooperates with the government. At the same time also, we have a colleague group of ours, the Illinois Public Interest Research Group, IPIRG, which is saying, hey, why should that $200 million go to the government? It should go back to the ratepayers. So you have a local activist group saying, hey, this was ratepayer money that got stolen, give it back to the ratepayers. Along the same time, though, our group was making the contention, you think $200 million was bad. What about the $2.3 billion bailout that they got, possibly using the same illegal lobbyists? When are we going to get that money back? When we bring up that issue, nobody bites. All we get are, the starting rotation for the Cubs and who's going to be the next quarterback for the Bears and how's the weather today. And, oh, I'm sorry, we have to go now. So nobody is looking at the $2.3 billion bailout the same way they are this $200 million fine that Exelon or that ComEd was imposed. So again, it just lays out the example here of how this corruption is so deep, pervasive. And the last piece I'll leave you with, and before I turn it back to Gail, You don't have to believe a word I said, but I think it was Kevin Camps of Beyond Nuclear who turned this up. Several years ago, there was an industry conference going, and somebody managed to get in there at a time when one of the presenters, who was a consultant for energy companies, was doing a PowerPoint which literally states that this is a business model for the industry. You create a situation where you need bailouts. It's really going to up your bottom line. Your stock's going to look good. Check it out, folks. So it's not us talking. It's the industry itself that has gamed this system for the last 7 years and continues to do so.